Who else got stuff? Does anybody got a deal they want to talk about? Any problems you got? Steven, what are you up to?
No deals yet. I'm still working on getting my knowledge base ready to go before I start attacking deals. I'm actually planning on attacking deals probably in like May when I'm on my paternity leave and I have plenty of time to work with. But I do have some additional questions. How do you tackle sub two deals that have a lot of equity? How do you take those down?
Well, so usually you're going to do it as a hybrid if they have a lot of equity, because usually the seller wants some of that equity back.
Yeah.
So you can do it one of two ways: wrap the first note, and then with the seller, if you can get them to seller finance it to you with a little bit of cash in their pocket and then payments over time, is the best way. If you can't, then you got to bring in a private money lender to take out all that equity and pay them as in a second note position.
Okay.
So we do it both ways.
Okay. And then let me see. I have a few more. What states do you automatically say no to? Because and what is some criteria you're like complete no when you're taking down a property? Or
All depends on
no's?
landlord friendly states. They have to be a landlord friendly.
So like Oregon, for example, I feel like they're out.
Oregon's out, Washington's out, California's out. A lot of the upper East Coast states are out. Illinois is out.
So tell me why landlord states are out, because your business model is not being the landlord. You're technically doing pre-owners.
So you want landlord friendly states because your lease, you are the landlord. If you have to go evict them, you evict them just like you are a landlord and they're the renter.
Okay.
So that's why you want landlord friendly states. So the best thing to do is you can look up the states, just Google it. And are you a landlord friendly state? And there's the top 7 or 10, we've expanded outside of that. Even they say Georgia's a landlord friendly state. I've got one eviction going on over there right now, and it's a pain in the ass because of the court system, not because of their procedure. It's the courts are so backed up, you can't get in to do anything.
Okay.
So, but I still buy in Georgia because I like Georgia. So,
yeah.
But some of them you definitely do not want to do, because if you go to evict like in California, they could be there for 6 months or a year. Same thing in Washington.
I'm not touching California.
Yeah, you don't want to do those.
Yeah. So you still follow the rules of like landlord friendly states. Like they still have to be friendly toward, because even though you're not technically a landlord, you technically are a landlord.
Yep.
Okay.
Up front you are. With the lease you are. Yep.
And then I've heard you talk a little bit more about these interest only deals. So you're also big on cash flow. So in reality, you can really finagle a deal to cash flow very well by doing these interest-free loans, but interest-only loans. But they're in reality, interest-only loans aren't really the best for principal pay down, et cetera, et cetera. So you can really finagle the numbers in a way that does get you that cash flow, but on the back end, it might not be a good deal. So do you still agree with that statement?
Yeah, because I'm after cash flow. I want the monthly cash flow. Eventually, every property is going to appreciate, no matter what. So at some point in time, with those interest-only loans, that's when I look at every 6 months in my own portfolio. Do I want to get rid of my private money, pay them off with a DSCR loan, take the money and put it on another property? So I wait till that property appreciates enough so I can do a DSCR cash out. And I'm always wanting to take cash out because there's no taxes paid on that money because it's loan money.
Yeah.
So, and that at that point, then I'll take out my private money and move on. In the meantime, I'm looking for monthly cash flow. And what I'm looking at is generational wealth. So some of these interest-only notes that I have out right now might outlive me with the properties and be turned over to my children. And then they're going to have to deal with it at that time. But right now, it is cash flowing very heavily, and that's what I'm after.
Okay, because in reality, you could interest only all of your deals.
Sure. Yeah.
So you're okay with that? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of times what we do is I've got 2 cash deals right now we're looking at buying in Macon, Georgia. And they're both cash deals for private money investors. Eventually, I would probably take and get a DSCR loan and get them out of it, because I'm going to be paying them, 10% interest, 12% interest. Mostly, I think it's both of those are 10. And if I can let them season for a little bit, and I'm buying them pretty decent,
Yeah.
One of them's higher, so I know I can't get it done right away. I'm gonna have to wait a year or two. The other one I could probably DSCR out in about 6 months and get it at, right now interest rates are 8 on DSCR loans, I'm told. That's why I'm not doing anything right now. Right before Christmas, I was getting them in the low 7s. In low 7s, I'll do it all day long. And as soon as I've got 3 brokers I work with, as soon as those DSCR interest rates come down, I've got like 7 or 8 more to do. So
okay, you'll just get out of the interest only. Okay. All right.
Yep. I'll buy all day long with interest only.
Okay.
All day long. What you got, Adam?
I got it. Oh, wait, Craig's hands up. You got something, Craig?
Hey, yeah, I was going to ask if you could evaluate. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, I wasn't sure if I was muted. If you could evaluate a deal, because I did take your advice. I'm taking one was coming vacant April 1st, and I'm taking it off my property manager's plate and turning it into a lease option. You can probably address somebody else's question first, because that might take you a minute to go over that.
Okay. Yeah. Keep going with questions, and I'm getting prepared to analyze. So, who else got what?
I got a quick question. So on these cheaper properties, sometimes it's hard hitting loan minimums with DSCRs. Do you have a lender that will go under, I feel like there's a barrier around 70 to 90K. Do you know of any DSCR loans that will go lower than that, or lenders that are willing to do DSCR loans on portfolios of properties? So if you package 2 or 3 $60,000 properties together to hit another a loan minimum that way.
I do have some that will do that. A lot of times you shop them. So I've had one that will go down into the 50s, or the minimum is a 50,000. That what you got to think of is when you're a broker is it takes as much work to do $1 million loan as it does a $50,000 loan. How do they get paid? They get paid a percentage. So we're actually working with a company right now that does direct. So there is no broker fee involved, which is huge. And it's taken a lot of the expense out. So with that, I think they come down. I have to look. I think they go down to 75,000. That's a lot easier than some of the brokers that they have to go out and get certain things. So yeah, there are people out there. And yes, when you package a deal, I don't like packaging deals and doing a portfolio loan. And the reason why I don't is when you go to do a seller finance, or if you have to sell the property off, usually there's restrictions. Like I'm in a portfolio loan right now with a bunch of my properties in Tucson, because that was the only way I could do it, because I did a 1031 exchange. And it's coming due in 2027, because it's usually a 20-year amortization and a 10-year call. So it's coming due. But also when I go to sell that property or a property out of that portfolio, they want to see the appraisal and or contract, depending on if we have to do an appraisal or not. And then they're going to look at that, and they want to take all the equity, and they give you very little equity. So you don't get a lot of cash out of the deal. You get a lot of principal pay down on your note, which is great too. And then typically in a portfolio loan, like I sold off 3 properties out of there, and then they have a clause in there that I could readjust the payment, but it cost me $500 to do. Well, I did it because it dropped the payment almost $2,000 a month. So because I lost those 3 properties, the cash flow was down, so I needed to get the payment down too, which was all in the strategy of it all. And that worked. But I don't really like doing portfolio loans because of that. Now, what I have talked to brokers about is they will, if you're doing 3, 4, 5 of them at a time, they will package them kind of like a portfolio, but they will do individual loans, and they will throw in 1 or 2 low ones just because you have other ones in there too, and they want your business to do all of them and not do a portfolio.
That's a really good point. Yeah. Yeah, because I was talking to one of my really good buddies about it, and he was like, dude, why would I spend time on a $50,000 house when because of after 2008, their fees are fixed now, and I didn't realize that. So it's you can only make 3% or whatever it is on a $50,000 house and a $500,000 house. So where are they going to spend their time? And that was basically his point, and it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, but then it also makes sense if you bring them like 3 properties
Mhm.
and like you're making your percentage across 3 as opposed to just like the one little property. Okay.
Correct. Yep. Exactly. So you gotta find the right broker. I've had to switch brokers a couple times to get stuff done too. So I don't ever stick with just one person. I shop them, even though I've got some people I really like here in town that could go nationwide. I still shop them just to find out.